past 2 months, sensational allegations of corruption, rorting and intimidation have featured at the Royal Commission into Unions. At the centre of much of the scandal has been the construction union, the CFMEU. Its leaders have consistently denied any wrongdoing. But tonight, 2 whistleblowers go public on what they allege was endemic, organised criminal infiltration of the union that was ignored by officials. This exclusive report by Dylan Welch.
In the heart of Sydney's CBD, in the iconic Queen Victoria building, 2 men make their way to a small upstairs cafe. It was December 12 last year. They were on top secret union business.
I suggested we meet on the first floor because it's out of the way, it's quiet.
Veteran union organiser Andrew QUIRK was meeting the National Secretary of the Construction Union, the CFMEU, to provide evidence of corruption at the heart of the union. It was a massive step for QUIRK.
You've been a construction worker since your mid-teens.
Yeah.
Your dad was a plumber, a unionist. You've been a unionist pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
Your life is the union.
Well, it was. It's not a union anymore.
Tonight, Andrew QUIRK speaks out for the first time about the corruption he says was allowed to exist in and around the union.
There have been reports of corruption, association with murderers, association with gangsters, association with terrorists, money being paid to union officials intimidating other union officials being forced out of their jobs and their careers, and the silence is deafening.
QUIRK's journey from union loyalist to whistleblower began 12 months earlier with a violent act that shocked him into action.
1 man is dead and another injured after a double shooting in Sydney's west. One of the men, a 45-year-old, died at the scene.
The act was the murder of Hells Angels biker Steve Mitrovic. He was a former business partner of well-known crime and construction industry figure George Alex.
And that sort of became apparent that George wasn't the run-of-the-mill influence peddler. He was far more serious.
George Alex was the front man for a group of labour hire and construction companies which owed hundreds of thousands of dollars in members' benefits.
In 25 years as a delegate and a union official of this company, I have never seen anything like what happened with George Alex. He was 8 months behind. Nothing happened.
QUIRK wasn't the only one concerned. His supervisor, Brian Fitzpatrick, had already complained about crooks infiltrating the union. As a result, Fitzpatrick received threats, was demoted and later resigned. Fitzpatrick spoke out on 7:30 earlier this year.
What's happening now is getting worse and worse. It's now a crisis point. I'm literally at crisis point.
In July, another construction industry figure allegedly collecting debts for George Alex was murdered.
We've got 2 murders going on here. We've got enormous amounts of money, death threats, cover-ups, people being sacked for trying to speak out of turn. I wouldn't be surprised if...
On October 2, QUIRK sent a letter to the union's National Secretary, Michael O'Connor.
It's on page 1. The CFMEU in New South Wales is now at risk of becoming a front for criminal figures for the first time since the early 60s.
O'Connor ordered an internal investigation.
I write the letter and then I get back a series of terms of reference. The terms of reference include everything in the letter that I'd wrote, apart from to what extent the National Office had contributed to the mess.
At the QVB meeting, QUIRK says he told O'Connor he knew about someone with new information about criminal activity in companies associated with George Alex that were doing business with the union. That person was willing to meet O'Connor and share the detail.
I gave Michael specific information that George Alex and a organised crime figure from Melbourne had co-invested in a Sydney company. Right, and I'm saying to Michael, look, you've got a problem here. You've got a problem in Melbourne and you've got a problem in Sydney, mate. Right? There's no good running away from this. We're not talking about, stealing the tuck shop money here. Right?
QUIRK left the meeting believing O'Connor wasn't prepared to take action.
Quite frankly, I was actually pretty devastated. There's only 2 times in this whole process I've come close to losing it, nearly having a breakdown. I looked away. I recovered my composure as quickly as I could, and then the conversation fumbled towards an end.
The union's inquiry was carried out by barrister Tony Slevin. He's now representing the CFMEU at the Royal Commission into union corruption. Slevin found there was no substance to QUIRK's concerns. Last month, counsel assisting the Royal Commission, Jeremy STOLJAR, called the union inquiry a whitewash.
This report just skates over and doesn't delve into the real issues confronting the branch. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
And it's a report that is simply a whitewash. Do you agree with that?
I reject that.
Michael O'Connor declined an interview for this story, and the CFMEU wouldn't comment on the QVB meeting. A union spokeswoman said that the National Office had taken the allegations seriously and had devoted considerable resources to investigating them. After blowing the whistle, QUIRK says he was treated like an outcast within the union.
It seeps into your life. Bit by bit, it overwhelms your life. Bit by bit, it consumes you. And, you know, this is all taking place against a backdrop of going to work every day and dealing with people at your workplace who are pretty experienced thugs who, are plainly sizing you up to see which leg they want to break first.
Another union official, JOCK Miller, watched as QUIRK was treated like a pariah.
As soon as he went into bat for Brian Fitzpatrick, that was the end of it. They just had, they were just trying to get him out the door. That's he'd get abused when he was at organisers meetings, and I think that was affecting him. And then he's been there a reasonable amount of time, and he's tried his best. And he's getting hammered just now. He's struggling.
When Miller stood up for QUIRK and Fitzpatrick, he says he too became a target of harassment by union colleagues.
Yeah, I've had sleepless nights because of it. Just can't believe that, they treat me like this for 29 years as an organiser. And, I've been pretty loyal and done the best I can for the members. And this is the way you get treated.
In recent months, the Royal Commission has heard compelling evidence of crime and corruption in and around the CFMEU. It's brought little satisfaction to QUIRK.
Look, there has been a pretty catastrophic failure of governance in the CFMEU from the level of the management committee to the top of the union, to the very top.
Dylan Welch reporting. How